Good afternoon. I am Dorothy Dyer from Fundza Literacy Trust, where we aim to get young people reading and writing for pleasure and meaning in their homes and in their own time. Research has shown that reading for pleasure is directly linked to academic success, both in and after school. Yet for many South Africans, reading is an unappealing chore, something done at school and then left behind with relief. When we started, we looked at the underlying reasons for this lack of a reading culture in our country. There were a variety of barriers: the cost of physical books, the difficulties in being able to buy books, the lack of books to read for pleasure in schools, and the relatively few libraries in communities. And, very importantly, the lack of local accessible content that was relatable to young people and that would inspire them to read for pleasure. This has been acknowledged as a vital aspect of getting young people excited about reading, as has been reflected in international campaigns such as We Need Diverse Books. When I was teaching, I could see that many of my learners did not see reading as meaningful to them. The stories available weren't written for them, weren't about them, and so the books did not become friends, and my learners did not see them as potentially enriching on a personal level. So we knew it was important to create local content where readers could see themselves. And we also believed it was vital that the stories were exciting and well written to keep our readers hooked so that they want to find out what happens next. We also wanted to get books and stories into the hands of young people at no or low cost in a way that would not just be cheap for them to access, but also convenient. Out of these desires to shift how reading happens, we launched the Fundza.mobi online reading platform in 2011 so that young people could read exciting stories that reflected their lives, and they could do this on their mobile phones. The platform is now data-free across all South African networks, which means that it doesn't cost the readers a cent to engage. This first slide gives a few snapshots of the site. Just going to share my screen. There, so you can see there the site where there's new content daily. And every day there is, on Fundza Friday, there's a brand new story that has been commissioned, and increasingly these are being written by young authors whom we mentor to become our professional writers. There are also articles and blogs on a range of topics and a regular children's story. We also run open online courses through the Fundza.mobi platform. There's at least one new course each month, sometimes two, and these are designed to not only improve reading and comprehension skills, but also impart other life skills, such as learning about leadership styles, making good personal choices, or reflecting on social issues in the world around us. We also want to develop the writing skills of those we reach. Our open writing platform means that anyone can send in their poetry, essay, short story, or play for publication on the site. And it is through this fans work that we are also able to identify talent that we can mentor to become professional writers. Being a digital platform, we can collect much data that we can use for monitoring and evaluation purposes to evaluate our progress. The data we collect also gives us valuable insights about the thousands of young people, the thousands of young South Africans who use our Mobi site. We are proud to see the evidence of growing engagement. As this slide shows, in the last year, we've reached some significant milestones with more than 720,000 unique returning readers who read on average 17 minutes in a session. There were also more than 175,000 comments in the last year, and a total of more than 60 million individual reading hours. For our courses, a total of 14,500 people completed a course, and more than 1,500 people submitted their writing for publication as a fans writer. Well, these numbers are significant, but we also need to understand whether or not the activities and engagement are having the desired impacts. Every year, we can conduct an annual survey of our readers, and also each course has a final survey. From these results, we can start to draw a picture of who we are reaching, what impact we are having on their lives, and we can also figure out how to improve our work so that we can get even more young people reading, writing, and learning. The following stats came from our last annual survey, conducted in December 2020 to January 2021. Around 4,500 people participated. And from this, we can see that we are reaching our target group. You can see in that graph on the left, young people between the ages of 13 to 25 are our main readers, but there's also a very long tail. Many older people are also reading and enjoying the content. We can see that our reach is national, although a third of readers are based in Gauteng, and the second most populous province is KZN. The rest of the country is relatively equally distributed, apart from the Northern Cape, which has low population density in general. The readership is female heavy. 71% of the readers are women. And we discover in our questions, the readership is book poor in general. Over 80% of readers say that they have 10 books or fewer to read for pleasure in their homes. A quarter of them did not have a single for pleasure reading book. We also learned that not quite half of our readers are already parents. So this shows us how important it is for us to be providing support for young parents and to ensure that they have ways of passing on their love for love of reading to their children too. We like to understand what our readers are doing with their lives. Our surveys reflect the reality of youth unemployment. More than 40% of our readers are unemployed and looking for work. A further 1% are no longer even looking for work. Many are still at school, and less than a quarter are either studying at tertiary level or working. Given the data, it's unsurprising perhaps to learn the extent of economic stress in our readers' lives. Almost 50% of our readers say that social grants form the backbone of their home's total income. For a further quarter, one or both the parents' income is the most significant source of income for the home, and in around 7% of instances, the reader's own income is the main source of funds for the home. As many of our readers are still at home, it is unsurprising that there are quite a few who do not yet have their matric certificate. The stats show, however, that getting a matric can be the end of the formal education for the majority of our readers. Almost half of them have a matric, but nothing further. The number of readers who have completed tertiary or have a postgrad degree is small indeed. We also want to understand people's home lives and what issues they face. This information is very important. It helps us to know what stories are likely to appeal to our readership, what experiences are common and familiar. More than a quarter live in an RDP home, and 22% live in an informal home or shack. 78% of our readers are urban, 22% rural. We asked a question where readers had to think and choose issues that they think are biggest in their community for young people, the biggest challenges. Unemployment and lack of work opportunities was the top pick, with more than 30% citing this as the most important, the biggest issue. But drug and alcohol abuse was a close second at more than 21%. Poverty or lack of financial support came in third, and sadly, lack of hope for the future was the fourth biggest issue, with more than 10% of our readers selecting this as their top youth priority. Other big ones were quality education and exposure to gangsterism and crime. Of course, all of these issues are connected. When you're unemployed, it is perhaps easier to lose hope and to turn to alcohol and drugs as a way of numbing the pain. And without quality education, it is extremely hard to turn around your life and get work. So these vicious cycles continue. And these are the cycles that we are wanting to dent, if not break, with our work at Fundza. We asked readers to describe their communities and families in their own words. And we've received amazing responses that provide insights into the characters at the other end of the mobile phone. What shone out at us when reading through about the 4,500 odd descriptions was both the hardship of the lives of so many of our young people, but also their resilience. And what you're seeing here are some of the comments of our young readers describing their home situations. The survey impacts are self-reported, so these percentages are what our readers told us, but they do speak directly to our theory of change. At Fundza, we take as given that increased enjoyment of reading will lead to increased reading, and the benefits of reading have been well researched elsewhere. So we take it as given that reading for pleasure is something beneficial. So what we are interested to see is whether Fundza material does lead to more enjoyment of reading and therefore more frequent reading sessions. So our aim is to encourage young people to read more content, to read more frequently, and to enjoy reading more. As we know, and we take it for granted that the more young people read, the better that they get at reading. And we can see the response of readers, it seems to prove that we are having the effect we are aiming for. In total, 90% of our readers said that their reading skills had improved either a lot or quite a lot. And 91% said that they were reading a lot more frequently or a little more frequently. 36% said that they did not like reading before reading on Fundza, but they do now. And almost 50% said that they did enjoy reading previously, but now they enjoy it more. And it's not only about reading. Reading more has impact on writing too. 53% of our readers said their writing has improved very much, and 27% said quite a lot. After all, as writers always advise, the best way to improve your writing is to read more. And 45% noticed other benefits to reading. The more personal, the more qualitative benefits that are hard to measure. And what follows in the next few slides are qualitative comments, both taken from the annual survey and from our regular course surveys. Here are comments which demonstrate reading improvement. You can see responses that describe increased concentration and ability to focus on the text. Many readers describe how their vocabulary has increased. As you can see, one comment here says that they are now flowing with words at the bottom right. Many readers, not here, but have also commented how this leads to self-confidence as well. Readers also comment on academic improvement at school and at college. Comments here too describe increased confidence and participation as a direct result of the increased reading and completing courses on Fundza. And more we are getting these kinds of comments, that reading and doing courses on Fundza gives young people something to do, a sense of purpose. Many people are feeling purposeless, depressed, they're unemployed, they're at home, and reading on Fundza offers more than watching my peers smoking drugs, as one reader commented there, or in another comment that's not there, drinking beer every single evening. So you can see we get many, and this number of these comments is increasing with each course that we do, which is also quite depressing. Linked to this is that the courses in particular give learners a sense of progress, as that they're on a learning path. They feel proud of their learning, and many comments also do mention the certificates that they get after having completed a course. And you can see, especially during COVID times, and because people don't have access to tertiary, these courses are fulfilling a desire to learn. And then there are the many comments that reflect the power of reading, where readers feel comforted and less alone. If we look at we love the statement in the blue comment at the top. Every story I read on Funza.mobi has a lesson and how to get past all these troubles teenagers go through. They make me aware. Funza Mobi is my best friend. She gets me and understands me. We were interested to note that Funza is identified as female here. And you will notice that we haven't edited or corrected these comments. And then, as the green comment points out, reading can always soothe the heart. Finally, there are thousands of comments that describe the different ways that people feel that reading has helped them develop in their own lives and their understanding of the world. They look at things with different perspectives, as one comment said. They develop bravery, the light green comment comments on. They feel more open-minded, the bottom red one. And on the right, bottom right, they feel alert and woke. Finally, besides the surveys, we have also learned a lot from informal monitoring and reflecting. Here are just 5 of the lessons that we have learned over the years. First, as we've said again and again in this talk and elsewhere, we know that local content works. Thousands of comments reflect the joy of readers as they find stories where they can see themselves or their worlds in some way. When readers feel like the stories are talking to them and not preaching to them, they are receptive and open. And we're very careful about this, that we don't have preachy, didactic stories. The magic has got to be in the story itself. Secondly, we can see that there is a role to play with incentivization. We host regular competitions and writing challenges, as this does motivate people. But we try not to rely on that. Ultimately, we want our readers to be intrinsically motivated to read. So the pleasure must be in the process and not simply because of a reward. Thirdly, while our site has been built data light and is now zero rated across the mobile networks, we know that this is not enough to get people to come and visit and get comfortable with reading on our site. Many of our readers have low digital literacy skills too. So we need to ensure, and we are constantly working to make sure that processes are as simple as possible, that navigation is truly intuitive and just works. Fourth, and this has become very apparent in the past few months under the lockdown and pandemic, readers want to be participators. They want to chat and make connections with one another. Our challenge is how to do this in a way that will be safe for them. We used to run WhatsApp reading webinars for reading group facilitators and are looking at ways to do this that does not impact on people's private information in a group. People are hungry for a sense of belonging. Finally, we know that our readers are aspirational. They are hungry for knowledge and hungry for better lives. We hope that through our stories, we can show them paths towards that and help them to dream and work towards better futures for themselves and their families. And you can see some of the comments again of from our readers on the surveys. Thank you. And please do visit our Mobi site to see our fantastic stories. And do share the information with anyone who you think may be interested. You can see the web address on the screen, and you're also welcome to email me at dorothy@funza.co.za. The site is completely free and, as our readers have shown, can be life-changing. Thank you.